Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Morning Briefing. I've got you right down here in the surf with me this morning. It's great to be with you. Lots to cover. Let's get into it all right now. All right, I'm down here with a dear old friend of mine, Bob Gifford, and we are trying to catch some fish. Bob caught a pretty nice little shark just a moment ago. I caught a tiny little leopard shark, but we're both in agreement on one thing. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's warm down here. The water feels warm. The sun is just rising right now. It's a gorgeous day, and we are hoping, as we've got a nice little tub full of sandworms, to catch a real fish here pretty soon. And by that I mean a corvina, or a yellowfin croaker, or a spotfin croaker, or a halibut, something like that, a real fish. So our fingers are crossed, and we're hoping we're going to be able to do that. It was such a great time last night, the live podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Jeff Yeomans from the 540 Slinger Club. Jeff's a very knowledgeable guy. Of course, he served in the Navy for 6 years, so we thank him for his service. And also Sam De La Torre from Island Fishing Tackle over there in Carson, California. Go drop in on Sam and tell him what a great job he did last night, because he truly did. By the way, tonight I'll be in Torrance, California, over at the Hoff's Hut on Crenshaw Boulevard, giving a presentation, I think, at about 7:15, but dinner is at 6. It's the South Bay Anglers Club, but it's open to everybody. Anybody's welcome to show up. So it's the Hoff's Hut on Crenshaw this evening. I'll be over there, and I'd love to say hello to you, answer any questions you have, get you on one of our charters, whatever it is you want to do. All right, let's get into it and find out what's going on. You know, what you see behind me really belies what's going on, because it's very tranquil right here. There's no wind. You can see there's not big surf. It's absolutely gorgeous. See the sun coming up. But man, I tell you, we are still dealing with weather up and down the coast. The Shogun was out, and a couple of the Friedman Adventure family members were on that trip. Limits on the Shogun, as we reported to you on the morning briefing, we had heard that the gun had some really good fishing. Not big grade, but 20 to 25 pound bluefin tuna are gorgeous fish. I mean, we just can't take that for granted. I know everybody wants to get a trophy nowadays, like a 200, 300, and there's talk of maybe a 400 pounder being taken this year. But for right now, if you get a limit of bluefin tuna, I don't care what size they are, that is something really, really special. And that was a nighttime bite. So again, the lures are working best at 100 to 250 grams, 300 grams. Really, really effective. Sakana by Daiwa, working well. Knife jigs, flat fall jigs. And then you can go old school also and fish a tatty, chrome tatty or something like that, and you'll get a bite on those also. Now, you know, this is what makes things a little difficult. The Shogun had that bite on that 20 to 25 pound fish, and then all of a sudden on another trip or another stop or another spot that you wind up on, you're getting 80 to 100 pounders. So you definitely need to diversify your tackle a little bit. You can have the 30 to 40 pound fluorocarbon to fish during the daytime, mostly when you're running and gunning for tuna. That's a very good way to go, but you definitely need 80 pound and a 2-speed reel. If you hook one of these trophy fish, you definitely want to have the tackle to put it on board. And with the proper tackle and the right coaching, and I'm just picking on the Shogun right now because they're in my sights, those guys were on it, and by picking on, I mean illustrating. If you have a crew like they have on the Shogun, who are so good at taking a novice angler or an intermediate angler and coaching them through the battle and getting that fish on board, well, that says it all. So once again, some really good fishing down there, but right now the weather continues snotty. By the weekend, like Thursday night, and then you start getting into Friday, it's going to be beautiful. All you guys, and somebody put on our YouTube channel, left a comment saying that he was going to be out during that time period. I can just feel the fish that are going to bite for you on that trip. So that should be really, really good. And then as we move you into the Coronado Islands, there's been a few yellowtail around there. My friend Valentino going by again. A few yellowtail at the Coronado Islands with that wind. It's reduced water temperatures. It's mucked the water up. I don't care what part of the island you fish, whether it's north or the middle or down to south, or you roll down South Kelp Ridge down to the rock pile. it's pretty dirty and off color right now. So we'll be keeping our eyes on that for you very, very closely. And later on, perhaps this week, we're getting some more, mostly oceanography that will tell us something about the possible upcoming albacore season. A little bit later on in the week, perhaps next week, I'll have an albacore update. We'll be talking mostly about conditions, and we'll see what is happening as models are starting to change about this La Nina a little bit. So we are watching that very, very closely for you, and we'll continue to do just that. San Clemente Island, windy. Last time anybody was there, like the Freedom, the boys, I saw them last night on the Freedom. They were changing oil and getting ready. So when that wind does lay down, Tina Valentine and their great crew, Trevor and all the guys, Gary, will be out there doing their thing here very soon. Clemente, if you get on a squid nest, there's been sea bass, there's been yellowtail, there's been halibut. It's kind of different from day to day. I'm talking in the past when we had some decent weather. You know, one day you get them and the next day it's off, and that's very typical springtime fishing, because it seems like you take a step forward and then you take about 10 million steps back because of this weather. And by that I mean we have been dealing with this wind for so long that when we get back to some calm weather, it's going to be very, very welcome. Catalina Island, same kind of a situation. There's been a decent signal of yellowtail there. There's been a little bit of barracuda in that neck of the woods, some calico bass, rockfish, whitefish, sheep's head. Cat looks like it could go here as soon as we get a stretch of decent weather. And as we head to the weekend, it looks like we'll get some of that for sure at Catalina. Pursuit will be back there. Freelance will be back there. All the guys that fish cat will be on top of that. The little island, Santa Barbara Island, off the west end of Catalina. I think it's about 16, 17 miles, if I have that right, or remember from my commercial fishing days. That little island at one time was very active with a lot of yellows racing all around there. Nice grade, too. I mean, some of that fish was 25, 30, even higher, 40-pound yellowtail. Some really good halibut bites out there and sea bass bites on the squid nest. But remember, I'm talking past history because it's just blown out right now. And the poor guys up there in the Channel Islands, looks like they're going to get a break by the weekend. The Island Spirit, Captain Cody Rogers, he said we're going for it this weekend. At least that's the plan. And it looks like they will get a weather break and be able to fish this weekend. Once again, in the Channel Islands, there's been a signal of white sea bass and big white sea bass when they've had the weather on their side. Trouble is, it's just been a brutal spring up in that neck of the woods. You look at the Endeavor, you look at the Aloha Spirit, they've had some really good occasional white sea bass bites, some big halibut up there, and we're just going to keep our fingers crossed that they can get back to it. If you'd like to join Cody on the Island Spirit, you can do that by calling 805-676-3474. Get on the Island Spirit. And of course, we have our charter coming up on the Island Spirit. A few spots left. It's a special Sunday trip, so you can come out. By the way, for those of you who are on that trip, I'll be in touch with you and let you know if there's any changes, but we are talking about leaving an hour earlier. So instead of a 6 a.m. departure, a 5 a.m. departure, but hang on, it's scheduled for 6. That's what we're doing right now. If we change that, I will let you know. And as I said, we do have a few more spots. We're going to focus on exotics on that trip, sea bass, yellows, halibut, and then we have the rockfish to help fill the sacks if we can't catch any of those exotics. So we will indeed be having a great time. And if you'd like to join us on that trip, as I say, there are a few spots left. Should be a lot of fun. I'll be there to snap your photo and shoot a video of your exploits out there, your angling exploits, that is. If you'd like that, you can send me a text at 657-227-6459. Up and down the coast, well, I mean, look at this. It's gorgeous. I mean, there's got to be a barracuda or two swimming around. We've seen a little bit of that. Once again, with this La Nina situation and more anchovy, the hope is that the barracuda will stick around this year. Perhaps the migratory sand bass will do the same. For now, just a few fish here and there. Some okay calico and sand bass fishing. Water feels very warm this morning. I'm not sure if it, was because the air temp was 51 degrees when I walked out here in my swim trunks this morning. And then that water just felt that much warmer, but it feels every bit of 60 degrees, and maybe a little bit better than that. So hopefully we'll see this coastal bite pick up. But, you know, stretching down there from Ensenada up to the Channel Islands, a little bit of bass, whitefish, rockfish, sculpin bites, okay. As long as you can get some good weather, you are in the ballpark. And the Monte Carlo was trying to get out this morning out of 22nd Street Landing. Whether they make it out or not, I'm not sure, but if they did get out or do get out, it's gorgeous out, and I have no doubt they'll be able to catch some sculpin and rockfish, and fingers crossed for a surface bite here very, very soon. We're watching this coastal region. Looks pretty nice in terms of the weather right now. All right, I think it's time for me to get back to some surf fishing. See if I can't catch something else this morning. As I said, there's been some halibut around here. There's been some corvina, and there's been some other stuff roaming up and down the beaches, and we will hope that we are able to do that. So on the calendar, I don't want you to forget that this Sunday, this coming Sunday, May 15th, we'll be down at Recreation Park in Long Beach, 7th Street. We'll be near the casting pond. If you Google the Long Beach casting pond, that is off 7th Street in Long Beach. We'll be there from 8 in the morning until 11 a.m. It should be a fantastic time. We're going to have all kinds of jig sticks there. If you have a jig stick you want to bring down and show people how to cast, that would be great. We're just going to go through some of the mechanics, be showing off rods and reels, and then at a later time in the future, we're going to be doing some jig throwing where you can actually see the jig swim through the water. That won't be too much further in the future. Also, I'm working with Big Fish Bait and Tackle right down the street here. Incidentally, Big Fish Bait and Tackle on the corner of Seal Beach Boulevard and Pacific Coast Highway. They've got all your angling needs. You can go pick up bait, all your surf fishing stuff, and of course, you can get geared up for giant bluefin tuna at Big Fish. Also, we're putting together a surf fishing day here in June. I'll have more details on that on a subsequent morning briefing. So this Sunday, we're going to be doing the jig throwing, casting, checking out a new jig stick, kind of hands-on workshop in Long Beach, California. That's 8 to 11 a.m. And then right after, the after party is at Shoals with Chef Jason in Long Beach on 4th Street. We'll go over there and have a really great time with him. Can't wait to do that. That's going to be a lot of fun. And that's from 11:30 until the afternoon hours when everybody says goodbye. That's going to be a lot of fun. Talk fishing with Jason, and we're also going to have a raffle, and we'll be doing so much more. All right, and then don't forget charter list. If you want to go on the Island Spirit, send me a text, or you want a list of our future charters. Our next one after that will be June the 15th on the Amigos, sold out. That's when the white sea bass limit goes from 1 to 3. It's a 2-day trip. And then we're on the Pride, departing on July the 5th. That trip has 2 spots open, I believe, limited to 14 people. Should be a really great time. So again, 657-227-6459. Text me and I'll shoot you the list or anything else you need. All right, back to the beach. I got this whole tub of sandworms. It's going to waste. It's always great to be with you. I'll see so many of you tonight at Hoff's Hut. And once again, thanks for joining us here on this lovely, beautiful morning, a beautiful Wednesday morning in Southern California.